So, the book I wanted to share with you guys today might be a familiar book. It's called Last Stop on Market Street by Matt de la Pena. And this book is an oldie but a goodie. It is a fantastic story about this little boy named CJ who's traveling around the city with his Nana. And there's a lot of observations that he's making about things in the city and his learning a lot as he's seeing various things. And so, as I'm reading, I want you guys to be thinking about some of the things that he might be noticing or complaining about. And then, what is his Nana's reaction to those things? The Last Stop on Market Street. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. Okay, so one complaint. Why are we waiting around? Why are we walking through all this rainy weather? From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" And listen to Nana's response. "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire, and old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the door swung open. So he's noticing, a friend of his has a car, but he doesn't, and he's wondering why. And his Nana's reaction is very calm, but at the same time, she's like, "We've got a bus, and it breathes fire, and it has this awesome bus driver. We're doing just fine." "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning the guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a good afternoon, and she made sure CJ did the same. So you see a variety of different people, old, young. We see a musician. We see a guy with tattoos on his arms. And Nana is treating everyone with respect and looking at each and every one of those people as important, which we all should do. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "Oh, how come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. So again, CJ's thinking about things that his friends get to do. There's no appreciation for the things that he's seen, the people that he's meeting right now with his Nana. It's always about looking what's greener on the other side, looking at things that he thinks are better. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. "Some people watch the world with their ears." "Oh, that's a fact. Their noses, too," the man said, sniffing at the air. "That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am." Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood him back. "Sure, I wish I had one of those," he said. Nana set down her knitting. "What for? You got the real live thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song?" So he's seen these kids or older kids listening to an iPod. Well, Nana's like, "You've got this guy with a real live guitar right across from you. Why don't you just listen to that live music, be present, and actually enjoy the people that are here around you on the bus?" CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. "To feel the magic of music," the blind man whispered. I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset colors swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies, dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound. And the sound gave him the feeling of magic. So right now, CJ's finally being mindful and being aware of things in that present moment, what he's hearing, what he's seeing and visualizing in his mind, and there's starting to be an appreciation for those things. The song ended and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti tagged windows, and boarded up stores. So you've seen some of the graffiti here on the side of the buildings, and we can see that on some of the buildings even in downtown St. Louis. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes, when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. So, even in downtown St. Louis, there are crumbled sidewalks and there is graffiti on the side of buildings, but there are still things of beauty down there, or in places where at first glance it doesn't seem all that great. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arcing over their soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, and the broken street lamp still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. So, still finding something beautiful here, the birds flying away, the beautiful rainbow in the background. So, there are still things of beauty if we take the time to really notice and be mindful of those things in our surroundings. When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now come on. So, on this entire journey that ended up taking his Nana and CJ to the soup kitchen, where they clearly are volunteering to help give food to other people, this story reminds me of appreciating the things that we have, but also just the things around us, whether it's at home, in our city, in our neighborhood. And sometimes we're always searching and looking for something greener on the other side. And that expression you might have heard of before, where that means that we're always just searching for something that we think will be better, when really we can find things to appreciate and that are beautiful right in our own backyard.